And on the Zoom call there, it says, it's going to read the trustee of the person, Mohammed Idris. Could you come on the Zoom call?
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you activate your camera?
Yes, just give me a second.
Hi there. So are you, is it Mohammed Idris?
The trustee. I'm the trustee. The trustee of the person is here, and all the beneficiaries have been already named.
Okay, so I'm looking for Mohammed Idris. If you're not him, you're free to go. We'll issue a warrant for him.
I am the trustee of the person.
So, okay, I'm not sure what that means. You're going to have to explain that to me. I mean, I know what a trustee is. You know, when they have a trustee over as a person, that's someone who governs their affairs if they're not able to manage their own. Generally, people aren't trustees for themselves, and so that's why, you know. And if you're, I'm not sure exactly what that means, and you're going to have to explain that to me.
What I mean,
like,
by
say, if you're, I mean, I'm sorry.
What I'm saying is the trustee of the person is here, and all the beneficiaries are already been named, and it's on a trust, and that trust is private.
Okay, do you have a name?
Because you are claiming that you are the trustee, or the prosecutor is claiming to be the trustee, and the investors.
No, I'm not.
To be the beneficiaries.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there for a second, because I'm not claiming that. No, you can't finish. When you say you are claiming to be something that I'm not doing, no, I'm not going to say that, because that's not true. I'm not claiming to be anything other than the judge in Thurston County District Court who's on this calendar. So I'm not the trustee of anybody.
Well, you're here to come after my personal trust, correct?
No. Why would you think that?
I object being a trustor.
Okay, well, you're not one. I'm just trying to find out who you are.
I can't get any clearer when I said the trustee of the person is here.
Okay, is the person here? You're not going to answer that.
The trustee of the person is here.
Okay.
And the beneficiaries have already been named. Is on a trust, and it's private, and my trust is private.
Okay. What's the state's position on where this case is headed? And then I can come back and speak with
Your Honor,
who I assume the trustee of the person is the person named as Mohammed Idris. And so, but let me hear from you what the state's position, these cases look like there's a fraction, a failure to control a traffic device. There's a special fuel trip permit. And then there's a failure to comply charge.
Yes.
So what's the state's position on where we're going from here?
If Mohammed Idris is not present, the state would ask for a warrant.
Mohammed Idris I'm going to consider him present based on his verbiage. I know he's operating under a lot of false premises, but that's kind of on him. So,
right.
But I mean, what is the state where we're at here? If the state wants to go to trial on this case, we'll set it for trial, and then
the state would ask the court to set dates.
Okay.
In speedy trial, the state also would like to clarify whether Mohammed Idris is intending to go pro se, or if he will have counsel at trial.
He looks like he was okay. So I'm going to speak here for just a minute, and I'm going to kind of tell you where we are with this, and then we'll go from there. So, you know, you said a lot of things already that just simply are not correct. And here's where you're at right now. All right. And so you've been charged. There's three things at issue here. There's two statutes that are alleged to have been violated: violation of a special fuel trip permit, violation of vehicle operator refusing to comply with an officer. And those are both, I think, simple misdemeanors, which carry with them maximum penalties of 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. pleas of not guilty have been entered. And then these cases, they're both criminal cases. And what happens is they either resolve through some sort of plea or some sort of agreement, or they proceed to a jury trial. And now, if you go to it, since they are criminal cases, it's headed to a jury trial, you're entitled to be represented by an attorney. Look like a previous judge had already ruled that, or found that you were going to, are you going to represent as the person, as the trustee of the person of Muhammad Idris, going to be present to contest the criminal charges against the named Muhammad Idris? Are you going to do that yourself, or do you want to have an attorney appointed to represent? I can screen you for court-appointed counsel, or you can hire an attorney to represent yourself.
Do I have a standing to speak?
Yes.
Okay, I object to what the prosecutor has said.
Okay.
And I'm standing on, I am. Like
You're standing on what?
The trustee of the person is here, and the beneficiaries have already been named.
Okay.
It's not a trust and it's private.
Okay.
And I object to the prosecutor saying that representing myself, I object to that. I object to being the trustor. And I'm not here to give out gifts, reducing the public law or the public debt. Because I'm brought in as a trustor to give out gifts, and turn around, and what the court is doing is coming after me for the commercial promise. So for that reason, I am the trustee. I'm standing on that position.
All right.
And I'm not here to give out any gifts.
Okay. No one's here for any gifts.
Well, I object to that. The trustee of the person is here, and all the beneficiaries, or the beneficiaries have already been named.
All right.
And I'm not talking about the beneficiaries, which is the investors.
I have no idea what you're talking about. When you talk about the beneficiaries, I don't have a clue as to what you're talking about. So I don't even know what that means. I'm trying to figure out, where we're going to go from here. And I have an idea, but in a minute, I'm going to take up some of these. I'm going to take some of these other cases, and then I'll come back to you. But
I'm the only witness on the case, correct?
No, you're not. That's not correct. No. Give me just a second here. Mr. Newcomb, you can mute up there, Mr. Idris, and then I'll come back to you here in just a minute. And you can go off camera, but don't leave the Zoom call just yet, because this is going to take some time. I'm going to take care of some of these other cases first. Mr. Newcomb, is your case ready? I don't hear him. And then Ms. Lazarek.
Your Honor, we'll be doing a change of plea today, but I'm just waiting for my client to log on.
All right. All right. So you can come back on the, you can come off the Zoom call there. Mr. Idris, you can come back off of mute. You can come back onto the Zoom call. So here's where we're at here. And I started talking about, and again, at this time, I don't want to hear anything about the trustee and the named or unnamed beneficiaries. My only question is, do you want to have an attorney appointed to be involved and help you with this case? I mean, that's a yes or no question.
The trustee of the person is here, and the beneficiaries have been already named. And I'm asking for the court to dismiss this case because I put myself in the position of a trustee.
Okay. The request to dismiss the case will be denied. I'm telling you that. And I'm going to ask my question again. Do you want an attorney appointed to represent you, or are you going to go it alone?
How can somebody represent me when I'm the trustee?
Okay.
And the beneficiaries have already been named? You can't even continue.
Why do you think that?
What does it have to do with thinking?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I mean, you're just telling me that, well, I've named the trustee and the beneficiaries are named who haven't been named to me, so I don't know who they are, and they're really not interested. I mean, if life were that easy, anybody could do that in any criminal charge. Anybody get charged with anything? Well, I'll just name myself the trustee of the person and name some beneficiaries, then you're off the hook. You know, things just don't work that way.
How come they don't do it?
And so in terms of, you know, at some point on the, there was a scene where you were contacted by a law enforcement officer, or maybe even more than one. They identified some charges or some statutes you were not complying with, including, you know, the special field trip permit, and you refused to comply with the officers and things of that sort. So they refer that to the prosecutor's office. They're charging a crime. And I've told you what those two crimes are. And now, again, these cases either resolve, and if you've been on the Zoom call, which I think you have for a while, you've seen some of these cases resolve, or they go for a jury trial. And again, you've seen all these other attorneys who represent these folks. I mean, if they could make these cases go away simply by naming someone as a trustee or naming the charged person as a trustee, I mean, shoot, they'd all do it. And then nobody could ever be prosecuted for anything. So that's why I'm wondering why you think that. And now I'm losing my voice, but it'll come back, I promise. So if you're going to keep
go ahead.
I mean, if you're just going to keep repeating that to me, then I don't have much of a choice other than we'll just set this to a jury trial, and then you can repeat that to the jury and see how that turns out. But I don't really have much of a choice here right now.
I object. Isn't the prosecutor supposed to be speaking and ruling between me and the prosecutor?
Say that again. I didn't understand that. Would you please repeat that?
How come the prosecutor is not saying anything? Why is the prosecutor silent?
Well, because part of my job is trying to identify who's here. And then the prosecutor did say that they want to figure out whether you're either representing yourself or you want an attorney. And so that started the conversation between me and you as to whether or not you want an attorney or not. And frankly, I still haven't gotten an answer. When I ask you that question, you just go back to restating yourself as the trustee of the person of Mohammed Idris, and then the beneficiaries have been named. So I want to get through that hurdle. And then, I have some responsibility to do some things here before we really hear from the prosecutor. Prosecutor will, I suppose, if this case goes to jury trial, they'll do that. They can negotiate with you some sort of resolution to the problem if you wish to do that. I can set this over for a period of time to give you an opportunity to do that. But And again,